Okay, these are comma rules, starting with rule 1A. This is the easy one. This is using commas to separate items in a series of 3 or more. And if you notice, we have carrots, comma, pasta, optional comma, and all other messy foods. Or in this one, eat with her hands, comma, throw food on the floor, optional comma, and make a huge mess for her mama. So the last comma before the and is always going to be optional. Just be sure to be consistent with your usage. Rule 1B is for short independent clauses in a series. They may be separated by commas, and that's short meaning 4 words or less. But if they're longer, that's 5 words or more, you separate them with semicolons. And as a review, an independent clause is a part of a sentence that has subject and verb, and it can stand alone because it expresses a complete thought. So example, we have short independent clauses: we talked, comma, we walked, comma, we laughed, optional comma, and we sang. Or if you have longer ones, you notice we have semicolons separating the independent clauses in the series. This last semicolon is not optional. You need the semicolon there. Okay, rule 2 is for back-to-back adjectives that modify one noun. So small is modifying creatures, so is green. It's modifying creatures, so you put a comma in between the 2 adjectives. Okay, rule 3, if you have 2 independent clauses joined by a conjunction, then you use a comma to separate them. And you can remember the conjunctions by remembering the acronym FANBOYS, which stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So here's an example. These comma rules are quite boring, yet they are so very important. Okay, so you have 2 independent clauses. Okay, you have a fanboys word, which is yet, so you put a comma after the first independent clause before the fanboys word. Okay, if the independent clauses are short, you don't have to have the comma there, and short means 4 words or less. So the picture is ugly, yet the shorts are cute. Yet is still a fanboys word, okay, but since the independent clauses are short, no comma needed, but it is not wrong if you put the comma there. And yes, that is my husband. Okay, be careful with rule 3. This is the biggest problem that I see in student writing. You love to put a comma before the and, but you can only put a comma here if both parts are independent clauses. And this one here, became nauseated in return, that cannot stand alone because it doesn't have a subject. So you cannot put a comma here, so be careful with that. Rule 4 is to set off commas, or set off non-essential clauses and non-essential participle phrases with commas. So basically non-essential means it's not needed in the sentence. Okay, and here is an example, actually 2 examples. First example, you don't have commas in the sentence. That means that you need everything in that sentence for it to make sense. So employees make the job seem easier is the gist of the sentence. Okay, however, it's not every employee, not the guy who sits on his butt and doesn't do his work, but it's the employees who always have the ready smile that make the job seem easier. So this clause, who always have a ready smile, you need that in the sentence, so you don't want to put commas around it. But this one, her new shirt is in her favorite color. Woohoo, that's all you need in that sentence. Okay, her new shirt, favorite color, only one shirt, yay. Okay, which was a birthday gift is beside the point. So surround it with commas, and that means that it is extra, not needed. You can pull it out. Participle phrase, just to recap, it's a verbal phrase that looks like a verb, but it's acting as an adjective. So here is an example. The money is yours is the sentence. Lying on the dresser is the participle phrase. It's either a verb-looking word that's ending in ing or ed. In this case, it's ending in ing. Okay, and it's modifying a noun, money. So lying on the dresser. What's lying on the dresser? The money is. Okay, so lying on the dresser, that is needed in this sentence. That's why there's no commas around it. So if I just said the money's yours, you might think that all the money in the world is yours. But no, I really just mean the money that's on the dresser is yours. Okay, essential and not essential participle phrases. So again, just a few more examples. Okay, frightened by thunder. Again, looks like a verb. Okay, in this case it's ending in ed, but it's modifying brother. So it's an adjective modifying brother. Okay, we have commas here, so that means it's not needed. So my baby brother climbed into my lap. Okay, that's all you need. Frightened by thunder is just beside the point. That's extra information that's not needed. But in this sentence, okay, a child often needs reassurance. Okay, all children? Not really. Just the children that are frightened by thunder need to be reassured. So that's why we do not have commas here, because you need to know that information. Okay, rule 5, use a comma after an introductory word when they begin the sentence. So anything basically that you don't need in a sentence, you want to surround it with commas. So what do you think? Okay, well doesn't bear any functioning in that sentence, so you don't need it. So you put a comma after it. Same thing with yes here. So anytime you have a word that really doesn't belong in the sentence because the sentence is clear without it, surround it with commas. Okay, rule 6 is to use a comma after an introductory participle phrase. And again, we've already said participle phrase looks like a verb, but it's acting as an adjective. Okay, and in this case, you have me and my husband, woohoo, I was skinny there, acting like weirdos. They stood upon the piece of driftwood. So acting like weirdos is your participle phrase, and it's modifying the pronoun they. So there's your introductory participle phrase that you always want to set off with a comma. And that is it for now. We'll come back to rules 7 through 10 in a little bit. Actually, I lied. I'm sorry. One more slide. That's it. Okay. Now, in this case, we have something that looks like it might be a participle because it looks like an ing verb, but it's not acting as a verb. Instead, it's, in this case, cleaning and painting my room was hard but fun. It's a verbal phrase, but it's called a gerund phrase. That's functioning as the subject of the sentence, and you need the subject of the sentence in the sentence. So that's why we don't have a comma after this. So just be careful between gerunds and participle phrases. They look the same, but one's acting as an adjective, set it off with a comma. The other's a noun. You need it, so don't put a comma there.